Okay, this is going to be a training on using our best setup, the G3 and the R3. And we have several different strike trader setups that we like to go through, but we're going to go ahead and show you our best one here first, and then we'll go into the details of the other setups later. We're going to take it one setup at a time. So the first thing you got to take a look at is the scanner. So here's a scanner. This comes with all of the templates. We've already talked about the scanner, and you just find your setup. So there's nothing on this screenshot that I took, but we're just going to go ahead and look for a specific G3 setup. And once you see it, let's just say that we saw one on the US yen. Okay, and so we see one for the US yen, and we just go ahead and go to the chart. So now let's go ahead and do that. After you find the setup, you go to the chart. So let's go ahead and do that. You got to have two exhaustion time frames lined up. So here we are, and we've got the US yen. And you can see here that we have a R3 because we've got two exhaustion time frames lined up. And you can see that we also have there's several different times when it has actually triggered here. This is a 15-minute, and so we're looking for it on two different time frames. We're looking for it on the 15-minute time frame and also on the 30-minute time frame. Okay, and you can use different time frames also. For what we are normally going to do in the trading room, it's going to be the 15 and 30. If you like longer term trades, you can expand it to an hourly and the 4-hour, but we're going to talk about that in a later trading strategy video. But for this one, we're going to do the 15 and the 30. So you can just see in hindsight here that once this one hit, it looks like it might have triggered right on this candle. So it dropped about 20 pips. So if we would have entered in a position right here, put a 10 pip stop in, or 10 pip target, we could have hit that pretty easily. And then there was another one which happened right here, and you can see that that one looks like it dropped about 25 pips. So each of these dropped roughly 25 pips on each of these setups. So that's pretty much what we're looking for, is these two to line up, and what it usually means is that there's going to be a drop in place. Now, the next step is, once we have that, before we actually take the trade, we have something else that we need to do, and that is we need to identify the possible trade outcomes, and we do this by looking at swing high and swing low. Now, I realize that we're only going to get a small little bounce on this type of time frame, but you still want to make sure that the trade is not going to get away from you. And the reason we do this is because I like to add my position, and this is my trading style. I like to add multiple short trades to try to work my way out of this trade. And so I'll go into that in later detail in a more advanced section, but let me just tell you that if it hits into the zero and it keeps going up, I like to keep trying to take shorts, because I know that once we're in the red zone, that a lot of times you're going to get a reversal real soon. So I don't want to take a loss when I don't have to. I don't want to take a loss when I know that I'm going to get a bounce. So if I don't get my timing right and I'm not out already, well, then I might go ahead and try to take a few more trades because I know that a bounce is coming. So the reason that we do step 3 is we want to identify the possible outcomes, is we want to look at some of these swing high and swing low moves. And so what I do is I find some of these moves here and I just calculate them. Like this one, I can see that this one 120 pips. Okay, and then we'll find another one here. This one went 60, and then this one went a total of 120. And you just kind of scroll through and find some big ones, and I'm doing this on a 15-minute time frame just to get an idea. This one went 100. This one went 50. And so now I'm going to go to the hourly and just try to find some swing high and swing low on the hourly time frame. This is 150. This is 100. This was 120. Here's one that went about 170. This is a really big one right here. this is a 300 pip move. So there was some drops here. You can see there was a 20 pip drop, a 40 pip drop, a 26, a 40, a 30, a 35, and then there was a big one of 130. So if my timing was off, there's a lot of opportunities to try to get out of this trade if I just added a position and I timed them just right. But I want to be able to see what the worst case scenario could be. So for me, I'm going to say that a worst case scenario in recent timing was 300 pips. Here's another one. This one's 400 pips, okay? So you can see that this trade can have some big moves. So if we're here and we see that the total move here is about 300 and this current leg is 130 and I start shorting here, I realize that it could actually do some serious damage, and it could probably go another 200 pips possibly. And I have a support and resistance point up in here, so I got to really, the way I trade this and the way I'll be trading it in the room, which you'll see, is I'm going to be adding some positions. So I want to adjust my size so that I could probably withstand a 100 pip move, because if this has gone a total of 300, I could assume that it could maybe go another 100 pips. So I'm going to say, okay, I have a $1,000 account. I'm going to go into money management later, but this is just a quick example. I have a $1,000 account and I want to only risk a total of $200 on this trade, which is 20%, and that means I'm going to only want to trade 0.5 micros. I'll put my ultimate stop loss up here 100 pips above, and I'm going to be able to add 5 positions along the way, and I want to be able to calculate how all of those 5 total will equal 200. Now, of course, you don't have to trade this way, but the reason that I do is because I've found that if I do it this way, that I can win almost all the time, because I know that I'm going to be timing it, and the market always does reverse eventually. You can see that this move, you have a big strong move, but then you get your reversal. You get a big strong move and you get your reversal. So if I do that and I calculate it accordingly, I'll be able to hit my trade almost all the time. Like, for example, I'm currently, as we did this, in the last 10 trading days, I've had 9 winning days out of the last 10, and the one I lost, I hit a pretty big loss, but I overcame it on the 3rd trading day. So overall, it's working out really well. Now, so again, here we go. We take a look at this and we find out where we can go with it. Let me go ahead and just give you another example. The New Zealand dollar, we currently had a drop here. This is a 15-minute, and it's a G3. Okay, so you can see over here we had the R3. If we had the R3 and it dropped about 20 pips, and then it had another R3, this one dropped 21, and then it rolled over and it had a massive drop of 150 pips. These are the ones that we really like, because you know you're going to get a lot of pips on them. So with that being said, a lot of times, let's talk about take profits and stop loss. So let's go out to the last part of the setup, which is the laying out the trade. Laying out the trade is the last point where we set up support and resistance zones. Okay, so where do you want to put your take profit? So what my goal is to do 50 pips every day, and I'm just going to put this up here, and so you know that my goal is 50 pips every day. So when you're in the trading room with me, you're going to see me work to try to make 50 pips a day. Now, so that means I can probably do that in about 4 or 5 trades with these G3 or R3 setups. Because example, here's an R3 setup. It looks like it triggered right here, which is a great time. If we would have entered on this entry, we would immediately had a 22 pip bounce. In a matter of minutes, you would have a 22 pip bounce. So the scanner alerts, you jump to it, you got a 22 pip bounce. Now, where would I want to put my take profit? Well, general rule of thumb is I'm usually trying to average around 10 pips, but what I do is I drop down to the 1 minute time frame. Okay, and I'm doing that now. Let's see. So here we go. We're at the 1 minute. Now what I want to find is a support or resistance level, somewhere where the price had stopped. So we can see that right here is the support level, or it's a resistance because the price stopped right here. And I assume that more than likely that the price is going to stop there. So if I have my entry and I enter right at the right time, which you might not always do, but you put your take profit about right at that level, that's 10 pips. Now it's not always going to be 10 pips. Sometimes your resistance will be 6 pips, or sometimes it will be 15 or 20 or whatever it is. But this is how I like to do it. So right here, this one was 10. If I would have taken this trade, I would have got my take profit and hit it right away. 10 pips, and then I only have to get 5 trades like that. But if I'm getting some are 15 and some are 20, then I can do it in 3 or 4 trades, which is my goal. 3 or 4 trades in and out in a relatively short period of time. My timing and accuracy is pretty well. So that's how I set up my support and resistance. And remember we talked about identifying the moves. Well, that's how we set our stop loss. So I like to look at these moves here, and I'll see that this move was 180. This move was 150. Let's find another one. This move was 120. So the biggest one that I found was 120. This current move here is 140. So if I saw that this previous move was 180, I know that it can do that again. So what do we have here? We've got 150. That means I could go another 30 pips before getting a reversal. So I want to give a stop loss with a lot of room in there. So I might want to go here to this level at 50 some pips, and I'll just put my stop right in here, and I'll give myself a lot of room. It's already made a lot of moves, so I know that a bounce could be coming, and I'll just calculate my risk. If it's $200, I'll just calculate my size and my risk so that it gives me some room to try to get out up into here. So I might add a position here, I might add another one right here, I might add another one right here, so that I give myself a lot of opportunities to get out of this trade without taking a loss. And I found that as I'm practicing and as I'm taking my timing, that I'm able to do that on a pretty regular basis without taking a loss. And as you're in the room with me, you guys will be able to get a handle on it, and you'll be able to do the same thing. All right, well, thanks a lot for watching this session. These are the R2 and the R3 and the G3 setups. Make sure you click the link below so that you can take the quiz. You won't be able to get until the next training until you take the quiz. I'm doing that so that you guys are getting all of the information so that you're able to take it in, and I want to make sure that everyone is paying attention to everything. All right. Thank you so much, and we'll see you in the next video.